I have to say, that is one very trusting man.
What is this?
Gotta go, they're coming for us. Here's your weapon. Drink.
And hey, with the way that things are going in our society, who knows who to trust anymore, as of course the situation couldn't be any weirder, especially when it comes to UFOs and alleged alien disclosures. What in the world is going on here as we have a new documentary, The Age of Disclosures, that Joe Rogan is pushing and promoting, as he just had the producer-director on, and they had some major bombshells as they described orbs that attack intelligence agents that look into this particular thing that didn't make the documentary. What? There's also some very interesting lore about George H.W. Bush and the New Jersey drone hysteria last year that the government lied about. But now, according to TMZ, Donald Trump is going to be making disclosures and releasing very important bits of information surrounding aliens, interdimensional beings, satanic, maybe demonic creatures or angels. What are they? I'm going to give you all the hypothetical possibilities in this particular video and then ask you and then tell you what I think actually is going on here. As of course, this situation is very strange. And guess what? It's only going to get stranger. Now, I'm going to go see this documentary. I'm going to give my take on it since I've been talking about aliens for like, 15 years. And we'll get into it. As of course, the New York Post has a lot of these articles. As just a few hours ago, they released this one. New Jersey drone hysteria 1 year later. Dozens of sightings remain unresolved as shocking new details emerged. That's the hook. That's how they get you. Like, shocking new details. We might use that for our title. I'm just joking. Titles are getting just absolutely wild and bonkers out there. As the New York Post interviewed people, and they talked about how they flew their own drones, and their own drones were taken over and then told to land. Donald Trump won the presidency of the United States, said as soon as he gets into office, he's going to tell everyone exactly what was happening. The FAA at that time was saying, we don't know what's going on here. Trump gets into office, and they're like, kidding, FAA knew what was going on the whole time, and it was FAA drones, nothing to see here, goodbye. And everyone, like, in this kind of, like, Trump and, oh, he's the president euphoria that we're so excited about all the prospects of all the things, they're like, oh, yeah, whatever, just excuse it. And I'm like, wait, hold on a minute. Wait, they lied to us, and they did, because that's not what happened here. The FAA said specifically, we have no idea what these craft are. We have no idea what's going on. The sightings here were strange. There's also in this article multiple reports of authorities just being followed, especially out in the open water, and a lot of these drones openly going into the water, out of the water, and being sighted. As of course, the article reads here, the sightings of 2 or 3 drones at a time lasted for weeks, the mayor said. They would go in tandem, pattern-like, back and forth. They were flying over the reservoir, over the downtown, over the shopping center. It was so normal after a while. Oh, look, there's more drones. Federal and state officials have yet to provide any explanation for the rash of drones that lit up the Montevideo skies. Yeah. What's the explanation? Police departments are like, yeah, these things are going in and out of the water. Totally unexplained here. Of course, we have another New York Post article describing how President George H.W. Bush, a man of the intel agencies, a CIA guy, okay? That's how the Bushes got a lot of their money and power, by the way, doing a lot of illegal, illicit activities with the intel agencies. But the New York Post article says President then H.W. Bush knew of 1964 alien contact with humans in this new documentary. The documentary is, of course, the one that everyone is talking about here as they talk about how Bush was told of a 1964 UFO landing, but lacked clearance. Who has more clearance than the President of the United States? Right? That's the question that I think everyone should be asking themselves, because who else is in charge here? Huh? It's almost as if there's kind of like a bureaucratic, deep, stay. What? I don't know what's going on. They're going after me. They're silencing me. As this new documentary just, quote, tossed a meteor into the UFO world. As astrophysicists say, George H.W. Bush, naval pilot, CIA chief, president privately told him that the United States met an alien at Holloman Air Force Base in 1964. Now, we also recently interviewed Catherine Austin Fitts, and she tells me how people inside of the government were like, hey, do you want to meet with an alien? You want to have dinner with him? Come on. And she was like, hell no, I'm not doing any of that. If it was me, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's cool. And I'm like, I'd be super skeptical, but I'm like, yeah, that's cool. I mean, according to the film, Bush described 3 craft descending on the New Mexico base, 1 landing, and a non-human entity stepping out for a face-to-face with Air Force and CIA officials. And when Bush asked for more, he was allegedly told he did not have the clearance. Who has the higher clearance? Imagine being president and still hearing, needs to know. The documentary, The Age of Disclosure, leans hard into a secret legacy program supposedly run by intel agencies and contractors, one that retrieves crashed craft bodies and leaves even presidents in the dark. The men in dark suits. Putin kind of described them in a very interesting way with certain things that he previously said. Now, on the Joe Rogan podcast, he interviewed the director who literally talked about how we were using nukes and bombs in order to try to get to this craft. What? Why? Doesn't seem like the smartest of things to do. Is of course, then he described, oh yeah, the Russians were in this. What? We'll play that Joe Rogan clip in a little bit. Before we do, we just quickly and shortly wanted to remind you, go check out thebestpoliticalshirts.com, where you can get shirts like the one that I'm wearing right now that says, I tested positive for freedom. You go here, you type in freedom, not like Kamala Harris says it, and then bada bing, bada boom, it is right here available for purchase. $30 for the long sleeve, cheaper for the short sleeve. You just got to kind of look around for the short sleeve. But we got a lot of freedom-oriented t-shirts that are really fun, really interesting, and definitely help you start up a conversation with your neighbors, with the people in your community. Great way to find like-minded people to engage in conversations with. Again, we're going to be launching a lot more shirts. We're going to be getting rid of some shirts. We're going to have some shirts that are sold out, and I'm super excited about expanding, growing our kind of t-shirt stores. Of course, they make the perfect stocking stuffer. Black Friday's coming around, so take advantage of all the deals and make sure you buy your uncle or your relative or your loved one the most craziest shirts. You could find them on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. Now, let's get into this Joe Rogan clip because I think it's fascinating to get into these topics and conversations, as of course this producer told Joe Rogan that there were dozens of craft. Some of them were, quote, successfully retrieved and reverse engineered. What craft are those? As a lot of people are talking about how the United States has a lot of secret military tech. And there's always these types of conversations about how most of the tech that you see out there is usually 30 years or older, and that the new advanced type of tech and forms of advanced type of hardware that a lot of people believe were gifted to us or reverse engineered by the aliens is something that, of course, are still kept top secret and fly around in places like Area 51, where people aren't able to go see the craft or the devices or the nuclear technology that has been kind of harnessed and used and utilized. There's, of course, a lot of lore surrounding nuclear energy, as a lot of these drone crafts are being found over nuclear facilities. And a lot of people believe that nuclear energy was something that we were gifted to by the aliens. And ever since nuclear energy and the nuclear bomb dropped, especially in the 1940s, this is when we have started to see a lot of these aliens, right? A lot of these creatures. And some people theorize that the aliens are living among us, are interdimensional beings, and saw us kind of blowing each other up and kind of decided to intervene and say, hey guys, enough is enough. We got to show ourselves here because we also share this kind of energetic worldly plane with you in different dimensions that you can't perceive. So we're going to make ourselves perceivable to you because we have advanced tech, and we're going to share some of this advanced tech because we're also living underwater. That's what some people believe. Anyway, here is a segment of the interview that I found most fascinating.
Private defense contractors have this technology. Elements of the government have this technology.
You're convinced.
Beyond convinced.
And what do you think that technology consists of?
Now, this is kind of going along with what a lot of people believe to be advanced military tech, right? Because a lot of people are like, it's not aliens, it's advanced military tech. But what if both are true, right? Because there is a scenario where It is advanced tech. Lockheed Martin decided to reverse engineer. It is kind of Lockheed Martin's, even though they're a contractor of the United States, even though they're kind of giving blanket checks here. And a lot of the kind of disparities with a lot of the missing money and a lot of the huge kind of checks that the U.S. government gives them, everyone's like, why they're spending so much money? Why is there so much waste? Could be because they're working on secret projects that we don't know about, right? Pentagon. We lost trillions of dollars. I bet you they're probably building tunnels and some new crazy advanced tech with that trillions of dollars, personally, in my own personal opinion, is what I believe to be happening here. Now, again, listen, there's two major theories. There's aliens and then there's advanced U.S. tech. What if both are true? And I think that's a scenario that I think we need to entertain here.
I have been completely convinced by multiple members of the intelligence community, the military, senior leaders in government, people who are running the Senate Armed Services Committee, the Senate Intelligence Committee, someone who sits on the White House National Security Council, that our country has recovered dozens of crashed craft of non-human origin and done so since the 40s. And there has been success for reverse engineering elements of this technology. And the same thing has been happening in China and Russia. And it's a very real situation. It's a high-stakes situation. It is referred to as the atomic race on steroids. And I am completely convinced of that. And the contractors the defense contractors that people like Jay Stratton and Lou Elizondo and people on the Senate Intel Committee have told me are involved are Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, Raytheon, Battelle, big companies that have a lot of resources and are advancing this technology, but it's all so classified and so deeply hidden that it hinders progress. And the fear that if this technology got out, it'd be used by bad actors to create weapons of mass destruction has sort of prevented the scientific progress that could be better for mankind, that could be good for mankind. Like this technology, to quote Hal Puthoff,
Free energy type of technology, I think they're describing and talking about here, which according to Catherine Austin Fitts, they already utilize and are operational in some of their underground tunnels and bases that they're utilizing and harnessing this type of new alien tech. And then they're, of course, keeping it for themselves because that's what people do in power. Now, if China and Russia are already working on this type of stuff too, this highlights a scenario and situation where it's like, whoa, we're in danger. Why are we in danger? Because when there's a technology that they're able to reverse engineer or to build that is far more powerful. I mean, most of the stuff, when you look at Northrop Grumman and Lockheed Martin, they're not working on peace missiles, right? They're not working on harmonious piece of hardware. They're working on hardware that could destroy the world many times over. Not fun hardware. Not nice hardware. Hardware that's like, why do we need all the power to blow up the world multiple times over? Like the Chinese are doing, the Russians are doing, and that's usually their kind of like explanation. Like, they're doing it, we gotta do it. And I'm like, can we just like chill out? Can we just like maybe release some of this like free energy stuff out there? Can we allow humanity to progress forward in this type of amazing and incredible way? But of course, we are talking in hypotheticals here.
in the film, he says, this is the key to interstellar travel. This is the key to exploring the galaxy.
If you have free energy, right, and this is what people are saying, unlimited propulsion type of tech here, you could just fly up. We could visit many places around the galaxy. That sounds interesting. And not only would life become like incredibly incredible and amazing, imagine what would happen if energy is free. Like all these major industries would be absolutely just obliterated.
This is the key to things that sound like science fiction, like teleportation. All these things that could just revolutionize humanity and like the trajectory of our species are being held back out of the fear that the technology will be used for evil, right? And so, I love Hal Puthoff. I gotten very close with him, and he makes
fascinating guy.
Fascinating guy. He's the most interesting person I've ever met in my life. He makes a great point in the film of saying he believes, despite the risks this technology could be used for bad, he believes we should make it known and make it a humanitarian issue of how we all collectively go about safely using this technology to change the world for the better and avoid destruction. And we've done that. We have a blueprint for that with nuclear technology, right? Like, there are nuclear weapons.
And there's nuclear treaties that the Ukrainians just violated a major one of by blowing up Russian nuclear craft that is supposed to be out there for American satellites to see. Okay. We saw Jonathan Pollard talk about, we sent out a nuke, an aircraft with a nuke. He didn't say that exactly. I'm ad-libbing, of course, saying, America, you better lift the embargo against us all the way back many, many years ago. So clearly, we're able to handle destruction of the world many times over, which humanity and many countries possess. Like Russia has thousands of nuclear weapons. China's building up their nuclear arsenal. Pakistan has nuclear weapons. Israel has nuclear weapons. So far, we're okay. Mutually assured destruction and destroying the world many times over is not something that a lot of crazy suicide, like wild people are willing to commit. Thank goodness. But he makes a good point here. We're okay with nuclear. Why aren't we okay? But whatever this new stuff allegedly is, which I think is free energy, right? Which I think is propulsion, like technology that doesn't need like a fuel, a rocket without fuel.
That stuff's classified. We wish they didn't exist, but it does exist.
Now, the reason I say that is because there's multiple reports, and I've been reporting this for a long time, about these like 200-yard type of craft moving in and out of water and traveling underwater at least 200 miles an hour, according to some estimates. I don't do the knot stuff. Tim Burchett described this, former member of Congress. Many other people came forward and described very similar situations. Now, if you have something that scientifically is not possible for us to do, especially when it comes to traversing in and out of water, traveling underwater 200 miles an hour with something that the size of 2 football fields, that's incredible type of tech. Tech that takes an extraordinary amount of energy to propel and push and to direct and to move around. I think that's what he's referring to.
And then we also use nuclear energy for good.
Yeah. The question would be, if we're holding back because we're worried that bad actors are going to get it, is China taking the same approach? Because I would imagine they're not.
They're not.
I would imagine they're full bore, full steam ahead.
Yeah, and that's one of the problems. Like
that's the same thing with a lot of other technology, right?
Oh, yeah. Rubio and Rounds and Gillibrand, 3 of the most senior leaders in our government, talk very openly about their concern about China and them getting ahead of us on reverse engineering this technology. Rubio says it keeps him up at night. Rounds very animatedly says in the film, do you think for 1 second that they...
Now, what's China going to do with it? As, of course, they're now proclaiming, Taiwan's ours, as they're, like, faking the invasion of Taiwan. Now, some people would argue, America, within the last few years, ever since 2001, doesn't have the best track record as well. Especially when it comes to using and utilizing its military force. For what? Financing a bunch of bad guys and then blowing up the bad guys and then rebuilding from what they blew up and then buying up more bad guys. And then the cycle kind of continues. Like, why are we doing this in Afghanistan? Why did we do this in Libya? Why are we doing this in Syria? Why are we doing this in Iraq? Oh, Iran's next, but this one's going to be... Trust us, guys. Trust us. This one's going to be a cake. I'm like, stop it. Like, you guys are ridiculous. So, I don't think it's about who's going to be noble with power. I think it's just we just want to make sure that they don't get the power. Right?
They wouldn't use this technology for their domination if they didn't think we had access to the same technology.
How is it?
Now, it's very similar with artificial intelligence. And then he goes on, and then he kind of describes the situation with us using kind of nuclear weapons in order to get some of this crap. You know what? I'm going to do a separate video on the main channel. This is done on our backup channel. I'm going to do a video on the main channel, particularly going into the age of disclosure, going into some of this use of nuclear weapons here. But more importantly, this new TMZ report that Trump might be the president. And listen, I say if there ever was a chance that Trump might be the president, that confirms the existence of extraterrestrial life. We'll get into this TMZ report. We'll get into more of this Joe Rogan clips. Go to the main channel. Check it out. YouTube.com/WeAreChange. You guys are here on this brand new spanking channel. Subscribe. Click the notification button. We greatly appreciate all of your support on thebestpoliticalshorts.com. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys supporting me that way, supporting me by subscribing, clicking the notification button on this brand new channel. And because of that, this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more. All here exclusively on youtube.com/Luke Radowski76. The link is, well, I'll make it easier. Stay tuned for more.